Hello my quilting friends, my name is Leah Day and today I am quilting Mash Up Flower. This is a mashup of pointy paisley and regular paisley. We're stitching them together to create a beautiful flower design. So this starts out simply by stitching these triangle shapes. I kind of did a figure 8 pattern, so I came up and around, down and over, and that more or less worked. It didn't exactly go evenly, but I'm pretty happy with that. And so now I'm going to go inside of these triangle shapes and simply stitch internal echoes. Now you can fill them up however you want. If you want to make it more interesting, you could go inside with some pebbling, with some tiny paisley, with some stippling, whatever you feel like doing to mix it up a notch. I think that looks really nice. So total of 2 internal echoes, maybe 3, and I think that looks really, really good. And really in this case, it's just slow and steady wins the race. See how slowly my hands move, okay, but how fast I run the machine. So my needle is bouncing up and down pretty fast, but my hands are pushing the quilt fairly slowly, and that helps to maintain those nice small stitches. I like really small quilting stitches. That's just my preference. Understand that there's no right or wrong way to do this, and I've never taken a ruler to my quilt, so I can't tell you what my stitch length is. I know it's small, and I like that. That's the look that I'm going for, right? So we could stop right there and then just call it a pointy paisley flower, but I'm gonna mash this up. We're gonna add some paisley designs. So I'm gonna come in here and stitch a teardrop shape. So nice curve, coming back around. Now as I come down and swing back out for my teardrop internal echo, I wanna just be careful not to build up too much thread right in the center of the flower. We're gonna be hitting that spot quite a lot. And if we build up too much thread in one place, we could end up breaking thread when we come back around and hit it that one time, too many times, right? So I'm gonna come close to that point, but not quite hit it this time. I'm gonna kind of swing around it and form my next teardrop shape between these 2 petals. And it's entirely up to you. You could leave these paisley petals, these teardrop petals, empty. They don't have to be filled unless you want to. I kind of like travel stitching right there between the triangles and the teardrops, but that's also entirely up to you. And I like being consistent. I like having just 2 internal echoes each. That leaves kind of a nice little gap, a little space teardrop, a little open one right there in the center. And if I wanted to, I could go in there and fill that with something. So I'm going to finish filling in these triangles, putting my teardrops in between. Here's what it looked like when I finished stitching my Mash Up Flower. So now I'm on my Qnique 21X Elite Longarm, and we're going to give Mash Up Flower a try in this block. I have marked out and stitched a 10-inch block here. So I'm getting started in the center, and I always take 3 stitches and I am moving my long arm a little bit. That way those are not 3 stitches in place. Now I want to kind of think about this, where we're putting this flower. I want it to fill in this space really nicely, and we're going to start with our triangles first. So I think I'm going to come out and really expand this, take this right to the edges of the block. When I get over here, I'm going to stop and bury that thread. So understand that it actually saves you some time to have a little game plan, to have a little planning right on your quilt before you hit start, just simply so that when you hit start, you know what you're doing, right? Okay, that line was a little wobbly, but I don't have my ruler foot in place. I'm just gonna try and do my best to keep these lines straighter. And this is one of those things, it just comes in with practice. The more we stitch these designs, the more repetition we get, the better we're going to get at forming nice straight lines, nice echoes, travel stitching the whole 9 yards. So now I'm taking my triangles up this way, expanding nicely. Now let's do a figure 8. Come on down. I really think this would be easier if those lines were wiggly wobbly lines instead of straight lines, really. But that's okay. This is looking still pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I think I'm only going to do 1 echo in that triangle. Let's do a few more in this one. So what am I looking at whenever I'm echoing? I'm looking at the distance between my needle and the line before, and I'm also trying to keep those lines nice and straight and consistently spaced. They kind of taper together right there where the triangle comes to a point. So definitely something that needs a little bit more practice, but I'm actually pretty pleased with this. I think that this is going to be a great design for blocks. It's going to be a great design to stitch as a motif on your quilt. It's not obviously an all-over quilting design. Maybe could go into borders, you know, like the corners of a border, but really this is just going to be a design for blocks, for sashing, cornerstones, that kind of thing. It's not really something that we use to fill in spaces. It's one of those designs that we use to really stand out and show off on our quilts. So now I'm filling in those teardrop shapes, and take that teardrop all the way out, all the way around, filling in that corner really nicely. And then I can come in with my echo, bouncing around. Now I want to be careful. You see how much thread I'm building up, so I can bring that echo in and try and avoid hitting that center. I'm going to slow down just a little bit and avoid hitting that center dead on. Let's slow down in general and see if that gives me a little bit more control, because I've been running really fast, and sometimes I find if I slow down I might end up with better looking lines. You know, I might have just a little bit more control over them. So this is going to be a great design to digitize for QCT. That's definitely something I'm working on, because if you want it to come out perfect, if you want it to be stitched symmetrically, if you want it to fit a specific area of your quilt, then of course having it be a digitized design is going to accomplish that. This is very much a freehand, free motion quilted flower, and it's gonna have that organic, we'll say imperfect look, and that's a-okay. So I had a great time stitching this today. You know, it's not absolutely perfect, but it's the best I can do today. So that's it for Mash Up Flower. I hope you enjoyed learning how to quilt this free motion quilting design, both on a home machine and on a long arm. If you'd like to learn more about the machines that I'm using, come and check out my Qnique 21X Elite long arm at leahday.com/21. Until next time, let's go quilt.